Hi, Sajady here with Moss on Sunday. Happy Easter, happy Sunday, whatever that is. It's interesting though. We should all celebrate whoever is celebrating whatever they're celebrating, right? Because we're all human, and we're all family. So if you're celebrating Easter, everybody would be celebrating Easter. Or if you're say celebrating Ramadan, we could all celebrate and, cheer on those individuals. You don't necessarily have to believe, but you can cheer on those individuals, our friends, right? Because we're all human. And besides, who knows what's right or what's wrong, or who's right, who's wrong? Because, well, none of those religions really has pulled humanity to a higher level. If you can look at it as, say, realities become more and more transparent, or as we awaken, right? Some of you go, well, what does that mean, awaken? Well, some of the things that we've done in the past that we thought was normal, like slavery, right? We thought that was normal, or whatever else heinous crimes that society has done against itself. And then now today, as we wake up, it's like, God, we should never treat anybody like that. Although we still do, because we're still stuck in the background, in the past, right? So cleaning that up. Been traveling a little bit too much, a little stuffy here, so excuse that. But coming back to Sunday, and then we'll get into the power of frequency, because, well, it's probably perfect timing, power of frequency, and then Sunday, because Jesus, the man, not the religion, he knew the power. He could heal. Some claim he could really even, bring back from the dead, right? So those are all power of frequencies. How did he do that? Exponential intelligence. Literally, somebody's talking about the background. Thanks. At this really nice hotel where we are, really beautiful place. But this man harnessed the power of frequencies, right? And that's how he could transform it, and that's how he could shift. So amazing science behind it. Again, unfortunately, the religion could be a lot better practicing what the man espoused. So, but on this Mass on Sunday, the power of frequency, how to harness healing energy for success, or healing or love or anything else. Again, understanding yourself from a much higher level. And then after this, I'll be showing you the power of frequencies, because that's how I have my abilities. I'll show you the power of frequencies by analyzing you and telling you exactly what's going on with you without knowing anything about you. Okay, so we'll do that in about half an hour. All right, so we've got the power of frequencies, again, talking about how a man like Jesus, or even Buddha, or some of the other individuals who have had fantastic, you all might have some fantastic healing abilities, especially those who've awakened through the power of XI, right? Exponential intelligence. So how do you harness the power of frequency? So we're going to be talking about one harnessing the power of frequency, understanding what the real law of attraction is and how it really works, aside from the book, although it could have been a great book, but it was missing, key components. And these are the key components that would make that book complete. This is to learn the magic level of vibration that you need to be at for success and happiness. So success has a certain frequency. Happiness has a certain frequency, and everything else that you do, your hair, flat, curly, blonde, brunette, whatever it is, it's a frequency that's resonating, that's making that happen. So everything that we do, even your thought, is a frequency. And then experience different levels of frequencies to understand how they affect you. So we'll do a hyper meditation that'll allow you that, or even, it'll show you that we're literally frequencies. You change your frequency, you change your life, literally. It's not about psychology. That's an after effect of the frequency. So And as more and more science becomes aware, first there's few, just like a Roger Bannister, who did the 4 minute mile, right? He did the 4 minute mile, and then after that, many more came about and did the 4 minute mile. Before then, it was impossible to do the 4 minute mile, or you would think you're superhuman if you did the 4 minute mile. But now, like I said, it's common day. Same thing with frequencies. Over time, obviously Jesus and Buddha and so on, they understood the power of frequencies. But then later on, science started to understand it even more. Like, Nikola Tesla, he said, if you want to find the secret of the universe, think of it in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. It's the underlying factor, or the underlying, say, building block, I would say. Everything is in life is vibration. That's Nikola Tesla. So, and there's other many other great scientists that come to or rise to the level. So, as if you've noticed any trajectory or life history of a scientist, they go from, say, physical objects, dense objects like Newtonian physics, and then they get into the deeper and deeper frequencies, like the quantum, the quantum universe, and so on, like that. And then they start to understand, it's like, wait a second, there's a science that goes even beyond the quantum realm, and that's the frequencies. Otherwise, I call that XI, or the pure science. That's the next layer. So you have Newtonian physics and quantum physics, and I would call it pure physics, and that's where frequencies of life are. Okay. Now, there's different levels of frequency, so let me explain that for you. And why don't we just take a deep breath in? Just take a deep breath in. Just notice your spine. So there's, so we have to understand that a frequency is literally it's one frequency but different modulations. Okay, so a frequency is goes up and down, sine wave, but the modulation and the intensity, so the height of the wave and the oscillation of the wave, that dictates what we hear. So a solid object is a low resonating frequency. Okay? The heavier the frequency, or the denser, obviously, the more tighter they are. Okay, and then you raise that frequency a little bit more, and that solid object, starts to say vibrate, right? And then you get a sound frequency. So a dense frequency is very, very dense, and then the next frequency, if you raise the modulation, you would get sound. Okay, and as you go a little higher, it's higher pitched sound, and then it gets into that object turns hot, right? And then the sound frequency turns into a light frequency. And then you raise the frequency higher, and then it gets into higher versions of light, like X-ray and all the other scenarios, X-ray and all the things that we can't see. And then you get into higher and higher, and then these are what I would call, say, the origin of frequencies. And that's really, really important. And that's what we're going to get to here, is literally the origin of frequencies that create us. So if you look at frequencies, for example, if you if you strum a guitar, the string will cause the note to happen, right? If you turn on a light, there's the frequency originates. If you're speaking, if there a scent, that's a frequency as well that you send out. So XI is about the origin of the frequency. That's really key. Most people think that, you know, most, I guess there, so we understand that. The next level, and I'm just throwing a lot of frequency, patterns out at you, because a lot of people go, well, I just hum, or or you resonate at a certain frequency like 441, or whatever hertz, and that's a healing frequency. And it could be part of that, but you have to get to, say, the origin of frequency to have you actually heal the way, say, a Jesus would heal you. Okay, any other frequency, or again the origin of frequency, and then healing frequency start like here. So if this was the origin or the 0 point, right, you would have to get here. Psychology is a frequency, but it's way over here. If that makes sense. So there's layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of frequencies that, say, create your experience, that create you here. So it got a little confusing, but there's so many, which is good, but there's so many, say, aspects of frequencies that most people understand. And as science gets more into frequencies, right, the origin of frequencies, obviously we'll understand it more, but you can experience these frequencies now. So experience different levels of frequency. So we're going to do that. Learn the magic level of vibration that you need to be at for success and happiness. Okay, so everything is a frequency. Okay, and I talked about it I talked about, say, the sphere. In the relationship talk, literally, you're sending out a certain frequency that dictates you experience whatever that you experience. So, for example, if you're sending out a frequency of hate, or love, or joy, or whatever it might be, other people are gonna experience that, say, that situation for you. So you change your frequency. What most people do is like, I'm sending out X, right? And X could be, and imagine this, X could be anything possible. Okay. You're sending out X could be anything possible. And then you're noticing that you're sending out X. And then you go, oh, I better change this frequency through psychology and everything else that would, psychology, motivation, passion, the way we dress and look. I'm going to change that frequency. So, it's going to be different. But that frequency is already created in you. Okay? And that frequency underlies anything else that you put on the surface of it. So you can't change that frequency. Again, we need to go back into the origin of the frequencies. This one, understand the law of attraction and how it really works. That's enough. So Einstein said that if you resonate at a certain frequency, there's no way in hell that, he didn't say hell probably, but there's no way that whatever that you're, say, resonating at, like success, like $10,000, say, a month has a certain frequency, by the way. Okay. It has a different than 11,000 a month. So if you're resonating, say, at that frequency, okay, there's no way in hell that you wouldn't attract that frequency. But it's not a psychological. This isn't Think and Grow Rich. It is. By the way, I'm doing a tour with Think and Grow Rich, and XI would be that next level of thinking, because it's not up here, although it's part of it. That's, say, a direction. It's deeper inside. You're the origin of your frequency. So the key point. And then we'll do a meditation, just so you understand that you're all about frequencies. And XI is about helping you, say, get your gifts, because you're all using your gift, but you don't know how to, say, access how you create, say, your reality. So, and that's the gift that everybody has. So let's see. So what we're going to do is understand the different levels of frequencies, and then we'll jump into a meditation. All right. So take a breath in. Just notice where you are. Breath in again. Notice your throat. Notice your chin. We'll just resonate at different frequencies. And we'll experience, I'll resonate the frequency for you, and then I'll ask you what you feel. Breath in again. So in that experience, if you felt, say, blue, like the color blue, like you were the color blue, or you were something blue, let me know if you guys felt that. Take a breath in again. So some of you want the 10,000 frequency. So take a breath. Take a breath in. Now, and we can work on this as a group. So I help, as I help resonate, you got 10, say that $10,000 a month. There's an objection that comes up for many of you, and that's what limits. That's what limits you from creating, say, 10,000 a month. In this example, because in order for that frequency to resonate purely for you, you would have to remove some of the other frequencies. Same thing with love. Now, if you're, for example, wanting a love frequency, but you have frequencies of abuse underneath it, or somebody that, say, might have hurt your feelings in a relationship, right? All those frequencies. And that's why as you resonate with that frequency, for example, of love, you're falling in love with somebody, or you come into, say, a level of success. Now I'm in a high-rise office, I'm this and that. All your, say, insecurities will show up for you. So you can see them, and that's what'll happen for many of you, even in this little mini meditation. Take a deep breath in. You'll start to see all the money issues, for example. Okay, because again, money is just a frequency. You either resonate with it or not. Some of you, by the way, another breath in. Notice your chin. Some of you, that frequency of money is turned. A good review is turned off. Literally, it's within your genetic makeup to have, say, a frequency of wealth. In this case, not specifically, say, dollar bills or something, in your DNA, but of abundance or wealth. Some of you have that gene that resonates, that frequency, say, shut down, and that's what the driving event in July is going to do. It's a driving to success consciousness. That's coming up live in July. Also, London events. A lot of you excited about the London event and the Ibiza event. The Ibiza event, very, very special event. So that's coming up. So take a look at the website for that, and then the 18-day hyper meditations, which really is the core or the flagship that like really turns or really can turn your life around. So take a breath in, and we'll continue on. Mother's and Father's Day event coming up as well, guys. Just notice your neck. The Mother's and Father's Day, very special. If you have mother issues, if you have father issues, really helping you reclaim it, reparenting yourself, basically. If you didn't have, say, the proper parent, and then also helping you become a really nice, a better version, a better parent to your kids as well. So both, that's coming up as well. Okay. All right. So what we'll do now, someone's going, I think mine is turned off. Actually, for you specifically, you keep turning it on with XI, but then something deep inside you turns it back off. So it's a cycle, for you. Is it Afia? Afia, yeah. You go higher and higher, for example, and then you turn, it's like, oh, that's too high. I better turn it off. So, all right, let's read some individuals. Before I read that, I have to read this disclaimer. Hey, this is Sajady with Xponential Intelligence. It's Sunday, April 17th, 2022. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose or heal. I can scan your frequency signature and tell you what I see. So please, again, consult your doctor or seek professional advice, better yet. If you ask to be scanned today, you're agreeing that we may use your session on any public media to help inspire others. So remember, if you don't want us to share your session, please do not ask to be scanned. And then all contents are protected by copyright. You may not use our content in any way, shape, or form for any purpose without my written permission. All right. So the scanning part basically is showing you abilities that we all have. And that's really the key, especially with XI. And, the more and more people come towards XI from other gurus or healers or whatever you want to call them out there, they start to see the purity, the difference between other modalities, even the self-improvement modalities out there. And XI is that XI gives you the power. They might give you some information, but they take away your power. That's really the difference. Okay? XI is literally about pulling your power internally, your inner strength, that inner expansion, and then expanding out. And as you say, awaken. Well, your abilities awaken, which you become abundant, and you resonate at from your origin of your frequency. This one is Ruth Davy. Would love a scan, please. And by the way, if I read you, if I scan you, comment in, okay, on the accuracy. Can you scan me? Oops. Ruth. Oh boy. I'm so sorry, Ruth. I kind of disconnected from your frequency. It was Ruth, though. I kind of remember. Just give me 1 second. Ruth. All right. So just briefly, Ruth. So for you, Ruth, just kind of lost you, but as I remember, as I was saying something, there's always a block in front of you. It's like right here, it's like you almost like you would be the type of person that like gets, hits their head a lot, or hits their head a lot, bumps their head, things of that nature. And that's real. And that's because there's a frequency that allows you to not see like forward in front of you. Right. I think in the past, though, without XI, there was literally just a wall in front of you. Okay, just a wall, and you just keep hitting the wall. That's your pattern. And then what happened? The wall, you raised it up, and now it's up to your head level. So it's just like now you can either say duck down, or you can understand what more are you resonating at that's creating that extra wall. I would suggest that rather than ducking down, because then that thing will hit you and knock you on the head again. So I would just wait. I would observe. Not so what that would mean to you physically is that don't make the heavy decisions. Okay. The more important decision, don't make that, because it's bound, that knocking your head. It's bound to that. So wait a little bit until your pathway is clear, for example, and then start making those decisions. So that's and again, comment in. This is Annie 0101. Hi, Moss, please scan my daughter. Yeah. So for you, and I can scan anybody through anybody. It doesn't really matter. And so this isn't psychic abilities, by the way. It's very, very different. Psychic abilities are physical frequencies. Again, the physical frequencies of this reality. Healing of this physical frequency will soothe you, but it won't heal you. You'd have to go to the origin. Okay? And that's how I can access anybody's, say, origin, basically. So scanning your daughter, so any 0101, she's, no matter how old she is, she seems like she's stuck around. So I would see her between 12 to 15 years old. Okay, although she feels like she's older to me, or she might actually physically be older. Okay, so the importance of that is that she doesn't, something, her experience here, basically, or she might be actually, say, this old. So one, your daughter might be 12 to 15 years old, around that age range, but mentally, emotionally, all that, she's of that age. So if she's older, she's holding on to, say, again, an age of 12, 15 years old, right? Or if she's younger and she acts older that way, it's because she wants to escape this herself at 12, 15, for example. Or if she's younger than 12, 15, again, she'll be wiser, so to speak. So take a breath in. So what you would experience for her is that she's always stepping outside of her space. That, from what I'm seeing, right? And when she steps outside of her space, she kind of becomes forgetful, or she doesn't pay attention, or somebody else steps into her, and that's the important thing. And then she steps back into her body, and it's like, what the hell happened? Who's in my body? That kind of feel. So I can help her out with that, by the way. This is Rose K. Would love a scan, please. Take a breath in. Is it Rose? Rosa? Yeah, Rosa K. Raza K. Sorry. So take a breath in. And as I work on Raza, working on any of you who have similar issues. There we go. So for you, it seems like this area of the head, Raza, is something going on there. It's almost like um, um, it's kind of interesting. It's like you have your head against the wall and you're listening to the other side. So this side is life, this side is death to you. That makes sense. So, and your ear is right against the wall. So, which is really interesting. So that would, so you're always say connected to the dead somehow, or the dead won't leave you. For example, if you walked into a hospital, as a the ghosts or the dead that just hang out at that in that area would follow you home. So it's that kind of deal. You have a great say ability to communicate to the dead, by the way. But how it affects you is that you're always melancholy. You're always say thinking of the past. You're always thinking, oh, mom was like this, and so on like that. Because again, the death just follows you, and when death follows you, your life has a veil over it, a veil of say dark death, a sadness type death, a death of disconnect. Okay? So you can release that, by the way, and see the beauty of death, which the beauty of death is life. This was Vola Vola Red. Can you scan me, please? I absorbed some frequencies recently and need your feedback, please. Yes, we all do, by the way. We all absorb frequencies and then we send it back. The key is, that we can observe the frequencies but not absorb them. Okay? Everybody's sending out a frequency. A lot of you who are empaths, right? You feel all these frequencies. So basically, there's no property, there's no barrier between your frequency and then your environment. Okay, whether it's people, they have higher frequencies, or it's the environment, right? It'll absorb into you. So what you're doing now, and that's what's important for you, Vola, is that in the past you always used to do that. You were just like a screen, and you wouldn't even know. The wind would pass right through you. The frequencies would pass through you. Now it's like that door is closed, right? And you're feeling the frequencies that used to go inside you, which is really a step up. Take a breath in, and then from there, what you want to do, and that's what I'm helping you with now. Obviously, a longer session would be beneficial for you if you'd like. The next step is, so right now, before you were a screen, now you're a door, the frequencies are banging on you. The next level that I can help you with you now is like push those frequencies out so they don't say attack you, so to speak. Okay? So before you were absorbent, now they're just pushing on you. Now let's create that barrier for you and others, especially on this Sunday. It's interesting. Religious holidays, no matter what religion, has this frequency that extends even more throughout the planet, and it distorts everybody. Even if you're atheist, it doesn't. If you there's so many people who practice certain religions, right? They have a holiday. That intensity of those frequencies, mass frequencies, again flood everybody. Again, either whether you're atheist or non-believer or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just like wind; it'll push through everybody, right? The importance of that is that one, you can protect your space and get the benefit of that frequency, or see the benefit of that frequency that's coming out. Two, the people who generate those frequencies, say from those say holidays, like today, you're resonating at a pure frequency. So the real definition is what you're looking for. This was Veronica Ray Ann. I would love a scan this morning. Sure. Your heart's really opening up, or you've always wanted your heart to open up. Yeah, your heart's opening up. You've always wanted your heart to open up, but then someone might have, say, damaged your heart. It's all about the heart, whether it's like an emotional heart or a physical issue with the heart. From what I'm seeing as well, so your family might have had um, heart issues, like physical heart issues, or even numbing of this area. From what I'm seeing, again, that could be not a doctor in any way. Sugar, I'd watch out for sugar as well. But back to relationship type heart patterns. Take a breath in, hon. Is that you go into a relationship, you seem like you're really going well, and then that relationship breaks apart for you, and you have no idea what happened. The thing is, when it breaks apart, say like this is them, you put yourself together, and then the relationship breaks apart. But the relationship doesn't break apart right in the middle. It breaks you off. So they take a piece of you. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 of the relationships. So there's, again, 3 pieces of you with those other relationships, with that other person still. So you would feel brokenhearted, but then you would feel that split, or the next relationship shows up, it'll feel more and more empty for you. That makes sense. You'll see, because you've given away, say, part of you. The next relationship comes up, attaches onto you, and you go, shit, I'm not complete. So the more relationships you have with this pattern, the more empty you'll feel. So you can reverse that, and then collect back yourself. Well, why don't we do this? Let's take a deep breath in, and let's help you, all those lovers that have lost themselves and are still attached to other people. Breath in. It's a Valentine treat. There we go. Breath in again. Just pulling. There we go. Just helping you, say, reclaim all those lost pieces of you all. So let me know how you feel, or in a very short time, you'll see yourselves recollect, or those people even back in the day, they'll call you up, even from a decade or 2 ago. So yeah, hopefully that helps you all, brokenhearted people. This is David Blackman. I'm a new father. Can you scan me, please? Absolutely. And again, congratulations. The Father's Day, Mother's Day event would be really good for you, especially for new parents. Those that hyper meditation, especially for new parents, it allows you, one, to heal who you are, and then so heal from your parents' scars, basically. So as you heal, you don't transfer it to your parents, to your kids, especially if they're not born yet. So with you, David, it almost seems like you've almost been a father once before, but maybe it didn't work out, from what I'm seeing. So take a breath in. This time, and there's always that pattern of you not doing things right, or never feeling complete. So even if you did do something right, so to speak, you feel like it wasn't good enough, it wasn't right. And then what would happen there is that, well, no matter what you do to, say, please your wife, please your kids, it's never done right, right? It's never, they'll feel, although you might do your best, okay, David, and then you pour out your heart to them because you're going, it's never good, it's never enough, never good enough. To them, it'll feel never good enough. Right? So take a breath in. It's not the best way to run a parent, although whatever you've done with XI, you've that, and it's not you anyway, so it's an easy fix to pull away. Right? So what you've done with XI, you literally have, say, pull that up to the surface because you don't want that going forward. So nice job there. This seems like it's a mother pattern, always running after your father. So if that makes sense. Yeah. So something, for example, your mom always running after your father, you flip that around. So you run after the woman or your kid, or money. So that aspect of you again is disconnecting for you and others. And again, if I read you, please write back. This is Marcia Zaccarelli. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Sorry, guys, just a little stuffy. So, where's it? Marcia, Marcia. Could be Marcia, Marcia. Either way. So, when I see you, it's almost like you have another identity in you. So your relationships basically would run a brother pattern, or if you're a woman, it would run a sister pattern. So So if you're a woman, your relationships would turn into a sister brother, and vice versa. So the reason for that is that you might have taken care of your kids, or there was a sibling that might have there's a sibling that might have died early, like say 1, 2, 3 years old, that kind of deal. Or I could be off on that, but a sibling that died, and that sibling, or you might be a twin, say that kind of scenario. So within one, say, body, I see two people again. So you'd always have brother sister type, or another scenario, and it could be all of them. Another scenario with this would be a sibling, say you're a female frequency, a sibling, you protected a sibling. Okay, the reason it's difficult because sometimes you might feel like I'm really manly, and then it's like you might have a female body, so that's why I can't quite tell which one, because in your frequency, although physically again you might be man or woman, but frequency wise, I kind of see you like completely 50-50 in the center, if that makes sense to you. So this is like, for me, I'm not, some people go, well, what kind of, am I going to have a boy or girl? And I can't tell, but I can tell it'll be, say, a masculine frequency, which means a woman with a masculine. So same thing here. So physical, I might be off, but frequency wise, there's a split in you. So what I'm helping you with, and then other people like this, is to understand that, wait a second, there's two presences. So it doesn't mean that there's two personalities or two ghosts or two spirits in you, although sometimes that has happened. This is like two programs, right? So there's in human, you have a human. So those people who are kind of confused like this, they're like, they have a human male, a human female program running at the same time. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not the most efficient because there's two identities of you, no matter what it is. Okay, this is where you get into the LGBT, and all those types of frequencies. So for you, so what you'd experience is, again, you have you might be female but really masculine, or you might be male and feminine, so it kind of messes you up. I'd actually like to do a talk on that. There you go. So, that's what I was getting at. So this breakdown in society, take a breath in, and then let's just do a little, say, frequency on that. And again, there's nothing wrong. It's just the product of evolution. So it is what it has to be, right? So we have to, say, live with it till we awaken, unfortunately. So we have, say, that breakdown, right? And that's why you have so many like LGBT, and all these other, say, patterns and so on. And as I predicted, even years back on, we would start losing identities, and like with every, say, society that, say, falters or collapses or basically kills itself, it's always a case of, say, sexual identity that rises. And again, you can research this, by the way. Can you? Yeah, I'm sure people have researched it. I'm just reading it from the universe. There's a loss of, say, identity, right? Sexual identity that becomes, say, a pivotal point for society. And Ray Kurzweil calls it, technological singularity. I just call it, a disconnect from, say, reality. And we've gone so extreme that and I'm helping people that have these issues. Take a breath in. We've gone so extreme that the identity of, say, a human male and a human female, so the identity of male and female, is confused. And then we've gone to a point where there's an identity of, say, the human is confused. And this is where you're seeing, how many of you comment in know about the furries? I just heard about this yesterday from a friend of mine. So I can't validate, but just check on the internet. The furries. So kids think that they are of a furry animal, a cat, dog, a wolf, whatever. And they actually, they're teens. They're teens, and they act and dress this way, and they mimic the patterns of that animal. And now, from what I'm hearing, again, I can't validate that, but this friend of mine, and he would have no reason to make this shit up. In schools, some of these, so they're furries, they're cats, right? And a group of kids who think they're cats. So they don't use the toilet; they use a litter box. So the school is putting litter boxes. Now, I could be hearsay, but it was at his daughter's school, so I would take it as truth. So the schools are putting, say, litter boxes in, I don't know, in the bathrooms. So that's kind of sad because, again, they're young adult humans, but do you see how that filter goes off, and then you think that you're literally, another animal? Those people especially need XI, okay? Psychology and all that stuff. It could help, but you need something heavy duty, okay? Because that filter, again, your identity, the origin of your frequency is here. The filters of, psychology and all that help you here, so it doesn't really matter. So the type, and I was going, what kind of person would actually do that? Move away. Obviously, distorted mothers, from what I'm seeing, a heavy, say, influence on that, on the mother of that child, no matter who it is, no matter how good the mother. And it's not about the love of the mother, or mostly the hate or the rejection from one. Basically, it's a mother. The child doesn't have a nurturer. Okay. So the child doesn't have a nurturer. So basically, they seek a pet that they can, say, nurture and hold on to and love. Well, that's the key, right? They're distorted. They're not getting the nurturing. And some mothers would go, I love my kid. I get, yeah, you love them in a suffocating way, and that's not the love or nurturing that they need. Okay. It's like watering a plant too much, right? That that plant dies. You don't give it enough water, that plant dies. It's that perfect level. Okay, so nothing against the parents, and again, the parent meditations would be really good. So they seek an animal, a pet that they can hug and love the way they wanted to. Basically, they create two identities: their hurt, damaged self here, the pet that they want to nurture here. So they literally nurture themselves, unfortunately. This is a takeoff. Okay, it's gotten, again, it's evolved to this level, so it is what it is. Unfortunately, this is where people back in the day didn't connect with people. They thought they're cat people or they're dog people, and they only communicate to cats and dogs. Does that make sense? So that's an extension of evolution, human evolution. Although in animal evolution, if you're a fox or if you're a cat, you just damn well know that that's what you are. Okay. Yes. This is from Terry Heller. Yes, a furry needs the love it sees for that animal. Absolutely. So it's really kind of sad. And these kids, they just literally, and maybe we could do a free event for parents like that. I'll think about that. Okay. So if you'd like that, comment in. But we could do a free charity event for those kind of kids that are kind of lost. They've lost their identity completely. Basically, first it was sexual identity. Now it's like, shit, I don't even know if I'm human type frequencies. And by the way, I predicted this a while back. So kind of crazy, isn't it? Yeah, look it up. Is it ridiculous? Not like they want to do it that way, but if you're, and that sounds weird, right? And that sounds weird with any prejudice. It's like in your genetic makeup. If you're dark skinned, you'd go, oh God, that's ridiculous. Why are they dark skinned? It's like, well, that's how God made them. There's an opportunity for you. If you have a heart issue, a lot of that is genetics as well. We don't, judge people with heart issues, right? We shouldn't judge people of, culture, preferences, any kind of preference, because we're all the cause of those preferences to happen, because we're not awakened enough. So we're all part of that, right? So we have to accept what is, but then awaken so we can clean up after. So again, I know it sounds ridiculous. Kids dressed up as pets because they think they are. It's not a game. It's literally a frequency. They literally do not have a filter that tells them that they're actually kids. I know it's the weirdest thing, but if you work on hundreds of thousands, of client sessions, you get to see patterns like this. This is nothing more than those people who are in, say, the insane asylums. That's an extreme version where they see other realities. So, freeze have conventions. Oh, yeah. And then that'll become, say, acceptable. And again, it is what it is. It should be accepted, but it should be taken care of, okay, to put back their natural human frequencies, by the way. This one is Sheni, Scheni. It just seems, Sheni, that there's just a heaviness on your chest. There's just like a burden that you can't release, from what I'm seeing. But then there's also a love with you as well, right? You see love in everybody. You're very, beautiful and so on like that. But it's like the more you love, the more burden that you get. That makes sense to you. And then with people that run these types of patterns, what'll happen is that you love, well, it's like, gosh, I need to love people more. And then the burden becomes heavier. And you go, well, I need to love people more. and the burden gets heavier. And then this is where you start to forsake your own health, your own life. You basically do not have a life of your own when I'm seeing you. It's just like your life is out there. So although you might do a lot of things, you would feel void because there's so much love of other people. So you're here. Imagine this: you're here, and then you have lenses of love of other people all the way here, and then your journey on how you see life starts here. So again, hundreds of other filters before you see your life here. So that's why there's that void. So another way of putting it, there's a crowd in front of you, right? And you're watching a show. You're stepping this way. You're trying to move people out of the way so you can watch your show or experience your life. I can help. I was helping you understand how many different, say, points of view that you look at life through. This is Sonia A, and then we'll call it a day. Hi, Moss. Could you tell me how am I progressing? You're doing really well. The midsection area for you, you're revamping yourself. So basically, for you, you're turning back the clock of time. Say that you didn't feel complete for what romantically or as a female and so on like that. Now you're taking a look at yourself and reclaiming yourself. So what you've done, which is really fantastic, is spiritual clean, the origin basically of your frequency, kind of clean that up, and then the super subconscious and conscious mind and subconscious mind, you've cleaned that up, and then the emotional values, those have been reset for you. And now what you're doing is like, oh, physically, this is where your hip structure is like, you don't have to age or look, say, like your elders. So this is where I would say you can change your genetic makeup basically, and you don't have to age like your parents do. So that's where you are. So you're looking at this hip structure area, again, feminine identity and so on like that. And also, let's see if we can, and this is where the frequency spas really come in handy. This is where it helps you, say, reset how you age, I would say. And there's some good scientific proof on how much I can change DNA. Alrighty, one more, and then we'll call it a day here. This is Rumi. Love the name, by the way. Really brilliant man, or woman. Rumi. He saw the beauty of everything. There's a reason for that, by the way. And let me scan you first, and then we'll talk about Rumi. Yeah. So you, Rumi, and that's why maybe you're called Rumi, because you go in really deep, and you understand, or you want to understand life. But then there's always a challenge, or say a darkness, not a darkness, but a heaviness with that, right? It's like you have to struggle to understand and see the beauty of life, basically. So I see you kind of in a pit, for example, and you're looking out, but you can't get out of that pit. So it's like, God, that's beautiful out there, right? It's like, I need to go explore. But then as you get up, it's like you find yourself again in a pit. And then over time, that pit gets deeper and deeper and deeper rather than fill that up. You've done a great job with XI, though, filling that up. So it's not that much left. Oh, back in the day, you literally would be like deep in the hole. Okay, this pattern. So what does that mean? So people like this, you'd get into a relationship, gets really heavy, and then all of a sudden it's like it has to break, or you get into the hole with that relationship, or money, right? You might you do really well, and then for some reason you have to commit, like bankruptcy, file bankruptcy, or something happens where it's just like the bottom drops. Those are physical, say, representations. Or you would feel an emptiness, or you would feel like your health, you're always running after your health. Those kind of patterns, or those could be your parents' patterns. Anyway, you've put that aside. The whole, again, this is the whole, top, bottom. Basically, you've filled that hole up to here with XI. It's a really nice job. All you got to do now, buddy, is just jump out, okay, or just step up. So this is where you take action. Right? You've done a great job. This is where you take action. You trust your instinct, your intuition. It's on point, and you'll see is as you say trust it, and you want to do it with smaller items first. As you trust it, you gain more access to it, or you have more faith in it, and then you can make the bigger decision. So nice job. Take a breath in. We'll talk about Rumi. Very interesting being. And it still happens today with a lot of artists. By the way, I was here, it was at the Lady Gaga, and really interesting as well. I'll talk a little bit about that. And I'll take a breath in, and I'll just bring in those frequencies of the joy and beauty that they see. Breath in. So Rumi, again, he could see the beauty of this world, and sometimes, his poems, don't make sense, but at that level, they would totally make sense, right? Because I can see it, from the level that he wrote it at. So him, it's an interesting frequency, where in one being there's two lovers, a man and a woman, in one body, so to speak, and they say that. And this is what's happened. If you all know LP, she's a very beautiful singer. Look at LP, really some good music. She does that too. So it's kind of the same scenario. Take a breath in. And this is where physically, sexual preferences and so on get confused. I don't know why we're talking about that, but it seems like it's of concern for the listeners here. So Rumi, or LP, it's a beautiful love story. So they were probably like two lovers, two lovers, two lovers, and it's like, I don't want to die. If I die, let's die together. That kind of scenario, right? We'll die together, and then we'll live ever on. Or if we die, we'll die together, and then we'll come back, okay, in another life. And that's what they've done. It's kind of crazy. So Rumi, again, he sees the beauty of both sides, because he's definitely, both man, a masculine frequency, a feminine frequency in one body. That's how much they loved each other, so to speak. And then they're forever dancing in each other's arms. And that's where Rumi was like, whoa, it's so beautiful here, right? That's his life. Same thing with LP. They had two lovers that died. I was, Faye, likes her music, so I was going, oh, can you read him? Can you read her or him? Because she switches. And I go, oh, it's like two lovers. They died on a sailboat or something like that, and they promised to come back together, reunite. Well, they united in one body. And she goes, that's so weird, because I think LP has a big sailboat tattoo or something on that. I was talking about Lady Gaga, and then we'll call it. Watch the concert, amazing. Obviously, she's changed. Something happened, and I was seeing her. I was like, because I was working on her while she was on stage. Beautiful singer, by the way, amazing voice, and the sounds, the frequencies that she generates does not come of this world. It's of a higher plane. So that music has more depth, so to speak, than other singers. That's why her voice is so amazing. Okay? I don't know if I should tell you that now, or that story. Do you guys want to listen to her story, or I could do it on a Instagram chat? So is Lady Gaga a man? And maybe we could just clip this portion and put it on another segment as well, for the team to remember that. So yeah, we'll just talk about Lady Gaga. Again, amazing talent. The voice, that essence, her voice carries something that's deeper because it's of a frequency not of this world. Okay. It comes from another world. So how does she do that? That's really the key, right? How is it so expansive for you all, or so? It's really beautiful, by the way. So just her storyline, again, not the cleanest individual, dark satanic rituals and so on like that. But then something happened. I suspect, and again, I could be off, that she got into an overdose or something like that. Okay? She got into an overdose. She got into an overdose type situation, kind of a near-death situation. Whatever, say, possessed her, because she didn't want to be controlled. Whatever possessed her, literally, she pushed out somehow. So amazing. And then, or she might have had some help from an older singer that a jazz or a blues type, person that was kind of famous, but was always behind or was in the shadows of this other performer. And he never had a chance to say, get, the fortune and fame, because he's always second best, so to speak. So that, say, identity, and again, there's science behind it. I'm not going to explain the science. It's the science of death, by the way. I did a lecture series on that. So that, say, frequency helped Lady Gaga. So, so again, and it's, whenever she disconnected from that satanic stuff, went this way. Again, fantastic job. So that masculine frequency is in her, and that's what many of you are seeing. So before she was possessed by dark, fantasy frequency. Now it's like a benevolent frequency that just wants to, say, experience fortune and fame and stardom, right? So that's why there's a masculine, feminine frequency with Lady Gaga. And again, very beautiful. No, it's not Tony Bennett. Not at all. He's still alive. This was in maybe the 20s, 30s, 40s, around that age. Again, semi-famous individual that, say, reincarnated, so to speak, into Lady Gaga. So, and those who know her personally would know that there was like a personality shift in that space. Okay. So anyway, take a breath in. So as I was watching her on stage, I'm going, wow, that guy wants to leave. He wants to go to, say, the real heaven's place now that he's experienced life. So I helped him with that. But then I helped Lady Gaga, say, transition. And so here's the deal. This is reincarnation, by the way. This is how Lady Gaga and many other artists do this. That's why I'm saying this. It's not just Lady Gaga that, say, impersonates somebody else. The guy who played Queen, that the movie Queen, right? That actor, forgot the actor's name, right? So that artist, Queen, the original artist, again, jumped into that actor, and that's why his, say, his acting quality was so, say, cool or almost like identical to the real, guy that played Queen, right? So quite amazing that. So, and then, so that actor has a, say, propensity to, say, invite people in. Some people do that. So it's really kind of cool, but it distorts you. So back to Lady Gaga. So what I was helping her with while she was on stage is that, and this is how death works, by the way, there's a consciousness, okay? And let's say the consciousness of a great singer, that gentleman that took over or helped Lady Gaga clean up, so to speak, right? That consciousness or that ability resides in the original form, okay? So right here. So say somebody in physical form is attached to that consciousness. It represents itself as a physical form, okay? And then from there, what happens? This physical form dies. It physically dies. Okay, physically dies, but the consciousness still is there. It's still plugged in. It's just not representing itself in physical form. Hence, a ghost, you would call it. Okay, this consciousness is awakened, and it wants to represent itself in physical form. So it's like, oh, Lady Gaga wants to be this and this and that. Hey, I match, and poof, and then basically Lady Gaga turns kind of half man, half woman, and you can see it in her dancing. So what I did last night was it's like, hey, this person is like, you don't need to be here. Let's send you off, wherever you need to go, and then Lady Gaga can connect to, say, that consciousness, that brilliance. Okay, no, so yeah, so if that makes sense to you, so now Lady Gaga will turn more and more, and this is what you'll see. Okay, this is my prediction. So you heard it here. So if you know Lady Gaga and she changes, give her this portion of Smas on Sundays. She'll become more feminine. She'll understand herself more as a female, right? She'll have a solid identity of a female. Her facial structure will change more. Her shoulders, again, would be softer. Basically, a softer, stronger, like more and more closer to an XI woman. Her demeanor obviously will change. Her view on everything will change. She'll come into, say, a strong motherhood type frequency, which is kind of unusual for her, but that'll show up as well. She might even say adopt or take care of some other kids, whatever it is. Those kind of patterns again, and still be the brilliant singer that she is. So anyway, watch her change in the next, say, 2-3 months, and it's because of I worked on her while she was singing. All right. So who's this? Kristen? Yeah, I told Lady Gaga about you back a while ago. Yeah. So if you still have connections with her, just tell her that, hey, you know what? You're going to be changing, obviously, for the better. It's always for the better with XI. You're going to be changing. That's the reason why. All right. All right, guys. As we end, notice as you notice what you notice, and notice those details. All right, please.